Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use your retinol if you're a beginner. And we are looking into when you should use it, what's important to keep in mind when selecting your product, how often you should use it, and how you can calm signs of irritation or reduce it as much as possible. And so I'm not going to show you the application on my face. I have done this with other videos, which I can link at the end of this video. However, I want to look into some research so that you understand where the information is coming from and what is generally speaking recommended when being new to it, what you have to be aware of when working with such a product. So I want to go back to my beloved Leslie Beaumont book, which is called the Cosmeceuticals and Cosmetic Ingredients book. This is where she looks at the research that's available and summarizes it in a much more simpler and understandable way so that you and I have a better understanding when looking into ingredients. So let's get started with some general information. So first of all, right here it says that retinoids are natural and synthetic derivatives of vitamin A and that these products are laboratory made. They can help you to treat acne, skin pigmentation as well as wrinkles, and it protects the skin from sun-damaged skin. Now the downturn is that it's quite unstable and that many products do not work because of the packaging and stability issues. It can cause irritation, and the irritations can be more severe if you have sensitive or even rosacea prone skin, and that you should only use it at nighttime. So right here it already gives you like loads of information what you have to keep in mind when looking into your first retinol product, what you have to be aware of, with what it can help you with, and when you should use it, and for whom it is suitable and for whom it is not suitable, and that you can always deal with signs of irritation. For in some cases it may be just a bit, for others it can be quite severe. Now let's look into how you should use it, what's important to keep in mind when working with it. Now right here it says usage consideration. Skin irritation, desquamation, such as the shedding of the dead skin cells on the skin surface, and redness are the most frequent side effects associated with topical retinoid use. Typically within 4 days of starting retinoid therapy, the side effects commonly associated with these agents become apparent. So to reduce it, apply small amounts of the retinoid at less frequent intervals. Apply the retinoid along with a moisturizer or on top of a moisturizer or oil-containing product reduces retinoid absorption and eases side effects. At the beginning of your retinoid therapy, it is advisable to use the product once and wait 4 days to reduce any skin irritation. If excessive redness, flaking or stinging occurs, then the retinol product should be used every 3 to 4 days for the first 2 weeks, and then begin to apply the retinoid every other night for 2 weeks. And then lastly, after tolerating the retinoid for 2 weeks every other night, you can use it nightly. Now, what they also say is that the lowest available dose should be started initially. So let's break it all down and let's look at some example products. Now, the products that I have picked are mainly because they are quite popular and many people have the chance to get their hands on it, but of course the same thing would apply with any other retinol product that you may have. And so let's look at a certain strength of retinol, and I want to go with the ordinary example because they have 3 different strengths of retinol. They have the 0.2, they have the 0.5 and the 1%. So what they're saying is that if you are interested in a retinol product and they have different strength available, start off with the lowest strength. So in this case it would be the 0.2, and then move your way up to a higher strength in the future if you should feel the need. This way you can already dramatically reduce the signs of irritation. Then they are also saying that another way on how you can reduce signs of irritation is by combining it with an oil and or moisturizer. Now, of course, this depends on the overall formulation of your retinol that you have already been using, because, for example, with the ordinary retinol in squalane, that one is already in an oil, so you may not feel the need to use it along with another oil because then it can become quite oily. However, if you have, for example, a retinol product such as Paula's Choice Retinol Treatment, that one is like a lotion, so it still can feel nice and comfortable when combining it with, for example, an oil. Now again, I'm going to go with ordinary oils because they're broadly available. If you have any other oil, it would be the same thing. This is just purely a visual example. So then you would use it with an oil to reduce the absorption of, for example, Paula's Choice Retinol Treatment, so that it then can help you to reduce the signs of irritation. The same would apply with a moisturizer. As an example, I have the Rinse Night Moisturizer right here. So you can use your retinol along with a moisturizer, either before or after you have applied your retinol product. So that again, it can help you to balance any signs of irritation and even work like a buffer if you want to use your retinol product on top, so that it isn't as intense. And so this can really help you to reduce signs of irritation when working with your retinol product. Now they also say that typically within 4 days you can see some side effects. This is very common, and so therefore they recommend that if you're being completely new to your retinol product, that you are going to use it at first once, and then you're going to wait 3 to 4 days before using it again, because this way you will see how your skin is going to react to it. So do you have any side effects, or is it fine? If it is fine, you can use it again. If you can already see side effects by just using it once and you have waited the days in between, well then it's best to start off by using it at like every 3rd or 4th day, so that your skin has time to get used to it and that you can again minimize the risk of experiencing irritation. Now I often read in my comments, well, I'm new to retinol, I have picked this and this retinol product, I have applied it to the skin and I do not feel any signs of irritation. Can I now use it daily? This is a very common question that I see in my comments, and so this is where the confusion starts, and this is where you can really end up with very uncomfortable signs of irritation, because just because you think that you did not see those signs of irritation immediately the day you have used the product, this does not mean that you won't see any side effects, because they can happen days later. And so when not listening to your skin and not giving your skin the ability to react to it properly, then if you're using it immediately daily in your evening skincare routine, those side effects can become more severe, and then they're starting to get really painful. And then it's best to give your skin a completely break and start all over again, but with more like breaks in between. But to avoid this, it basically tells you already, like, start using it once, wait, see how your skin is going to tolerate it, and then adjust the frequency accordingly to it. Now, how your skin is going to tolerate the product depends on so many different factors. It's not only how your skin is going to tolerate the product itself, it depends on the overall retinol formulation, it depends on the strength that you have picked, and it also depends on how your skin is going to convert your retinol into retinoic acid. Because if it does this extremely well, the signs of irritation can be more obvious. However, if it does not do this properly, you may do not see any effect at all. And this is where the overall formulation plays a big role as well. But let's look into at first the last paragraph that I want to share with you before I'm getting into the overall formulation part as well. And it also says right here, it is important to remember that the entire skincare routine and order of products applied greatly affects the tolerability and efficacy of your retinoids. So they do specifically talk about your evening skincare routine when using your retinol. And so use it in your evening skincare routine. And when being new to it and you still need to figure out how your skin is going to tolerate it, well then keep the routine as simple as possible. Just wash your face, use your retinol, and then follow with your oil or moisturizer, or do it the other way around, so that it can give you a buffer to reduce signs of irritation. But at the same time, since your retinol is quite unstable, when using it in the same routine with other high strength treatments which are still also new to the skin for you, well then it's best to keep them separate, especially in the very beginning, as it may make your skin look worse instead of improving it, because your skin feels overwhelmed with all the treatments that you just have added. So whenever you are using your retinol, keep it as simple as a 3-step skincare routine. And then on the days when not using your retinol, which can be in the morning or evening, depending on the skincare products that you're using, well, then use the other ones. This way you're making sure that your skin does not feel overwhelmed, that you're not going to influence your retinol product, and that you can reduce any signs of irritation. Then underneath it also says retinoids possesses neither phototoxic nor photosensitizing activity, therefore they can be used even by people getting sun exposure. So this little paragraph right here says, well, as we already mentioned earlier, your retinol can help you to improve and prevent sun-damaged skin. Now you may think of using it during daytime. Well, this could theoretically work, but there are 2 factors that are really not so great when using it during daytime. The first one is that your retinol is extremely unstable and can easily break down in air and sunlight. Therefore, it is advised to use it in the evening. Best would be just before going to bed when there is the least sun exposure. And then second of all, your retinol can still make your skin sensitive to the sun based on how it works with your skin cells. So it basically tells the new skin cells stay healthy or become healthy depending on your skin issue, and it's going to push them forward so that over time you will have a more even and flawless and finer skin tone in general and skin appearance. But because it's going to push the new skin cells forward, the dead skin cells are going to let go of the skin surface, and the new skin cells do not have the protection anymore from the dead skin cells. Therefore, during daytime, sun protection is important. So in the evening, use your retinol without sunscreen, of course, but during daytime, when doing your usual morning skincare routine, follow with sunscreen afterwards to protect the skin. Otherwise, it can lead to a sunburn or other damages that the sun can cause. And this is because your skin is way more sensitive. So please keep this in mind. And then lastly, it also does mention right here, retinoids should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding. Now, in this specific case, I recommend always talking to your doctor to get the best advice possible. Now, this brings me now to one last point that I want to share with you, which is mainly the overall formulation and packaging, because right here on the bottom it says that retinol is unstable, so not all formulations are infectious. It is impossible to ascertain by reading the label which products are manufactured and packaged properly. Therefore, using reputable brands is the best approach. And so again, it is very difficult to stabilize a retinol product depending on what ingredients have been used and the overall packaging, which now brings me again to my examples with the Ordinary and Paula's Choice retinol products. Of course, the same thing would apply with any other retinol skincare product that you may have, but I just want to give you purely an example. So with the Ordinary retinols in squalane, first of all, they do emphasize that once it's open, please put it in the fridge and please stop using it after 3 months, because it has a pHO of 3 months, which is the period after opening. So once you have opened the bottle, it is good for 3 months, and after that they cannot guarantee that you still will get the same effects. And this is due to the overall formulation, as it is pretty simple, and due to the packaging. Now, they do have a UV protective packaging, but they do have a little bottle with a dropper, so every time you're going to open it, air comes in it. And this can already be enough when repeating this over and over again that it's going to lose its efficacy. And so this does not only apply that if you're buying it from the Ordinary website directly, that you should keep the date in mind when you have opened it, because I often read in comments that you may wonder, well, I have been using it for this and this time, but now it stopped working. Why? Well, it could be due to the retinol itself, but it also could be because the formulation isn't effective anymore. So please keep this in mind. Another point would be that I often read in comments that you get your retinol product from the Ordinary from a reseller because you cannot get it from their main website. And so in this specific case, again, what's important to keep in mind is that when buying it from a reseller, if you trust that the specific person, go ahead and do so. But depending on how they have stored it, depending on how old the product already is on its own, and depending on if they have already opened it to check if it is still good, this can already influence the efficacy of the retinol once it gets to you. Because I often read in comments that depending on the strength that you're using, it mainly happens happened weirdly with the retinol 1% in squalane, the people say, well, I have been using the 1% in squalane and I had no irritation. And I'm sitting right here like, how can this be? So is it really effective anymore? And so in this specific case, it has already probably lost its efficacy. Therefore, you did not notice anything at all, like no side effects, nor any improvements. And so it is really crucial to look into retinol products that have a nice packaging and certain skincare ingredients that can help to support the efficacy and stability of your retinol, similar to vitamin C, as already covered in a previous video. Now, this of course brings me now to another point, which would be Paula's Choice retinol products. Both their 0.3 as well as 1% retinol treatments are well packaged. They have like an airtight packaging that sunlight can go through, and you only will get a certain amount of product out, and the rest is still kind of sealed within the packaging, which of course increases the stability of your retinol, and you can use it for much longer. Now, of course, it is quite expensive, Paula's Choice products, but you can find similar products, like retinol products, for a lower price. But I do want to emphasize that the packaging does matter, and that therefore it can change for how long you can use it and what effects you can achieve with it. And so therefore, again, keep it in mind, keep the overall formulation in mind, and keep the overall packaging in mind when buying your retinol product. This can be a serum or a cream, and just make sure that the packaging is at least airtight and that it does not get into any sunlight exposure. This is also really important to emphasize. So again, those are just purely examples that I wanted to share with you based on the products that I have picked. You can go with any other oil, you can go with any other moisturizer to use along with your retinol product. You can also choose any other specific retinol serum or cream that you may like. I just want to go over specific factors based on research, what's recommended on how you should use it, and what you have to keep in mind before buying your product. And so I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it helpful. If you did so, please don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. If you do enjoy my videos, if you do enjoy my work, my PowerPoint slides, like the information I'm sharing with you, I would be grateful if you could leave me a tip via PayPal. I'm going to put the link in the description box down below so that I can keep on going with the work that I'm doing and still be independent based on the support that you will give me. Now, other than that, if you now want to see the entire application on how you can work with certain products, I'm going to leave some videos at the end of this video so that you of course can see the entire application as well. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skin caring. Bye.